Did I just hear Bola Dane saying Tinubu bought his election?
President Bola Tinubu has that opportunity. Some of us from the other party believe the reason he could do that is because he bought his election. Do you understand? He bought his election. Do you understand?
Also, many African countries are now saying that Tinubu's government is not legitimate.
It's quite unstable right now, and unfortunately you have the chair currently, it's Nigeria, and the president of Nigeria, you know, he's also facing a lot of pressure in his country in terms of how the election panned out, in terms of the results, some questioning the credibility of the elections. He issued a strong statement yesterday, but already when you read the reaction to that statement, people were already saying, you yourself, you are not legitimate. And therefore, this time around, ECOWAS is not as strong as the ECOWAS that we are used to. You'd recall when there were challenges in the region previously, they were quick to react and to respond, and there was that credibility because those who were speaking at that time, who were leading the regional body, had credibility. But right now, it's on a very shaky ground.
So guys, no matter how the opposition tries to pretend, the European Union report is really biting hard on them. This is one of the reasons why Festus Kayamo and Fani Kayode were dumped, you know, because the European Union report said they are merchants of fake news. Let me allow you listen to what Bola Dane said about this.
You remember when European Union said this election was rigged? They said it was mad with bad. It's only 31% of the result in IREF was mathematically correct. And they dish out a lot of things of their findings. You remember some people came out from the governing party and criticized them. The reason they did is because in the report of European Union, there were two people that European Union classified as merchants of fake news. Now, some people thought Tinubu is not smart. They thought Tinubu also is saying bullshit with the European Union.
No, we don't use the BS.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree.
We'll take that.
I withdraw that. So, but do you know what Tinubu did? He did not appoint these individuals whose name featured in the report as merchant of fake news.
So the European report said only 31% of the election results are mathematically correct, meaning that this government is building on a wrong foundation. I mean, on a false foundation. The judiciary must rescue our country. They must rescue our democracy. So guys, let me allow you listen to other things that Dan Bola said about this administration as regards to the ministerial nominee list that was just released. Just take a look at this video.
Yes, on Wiki.
You see, he's not a member of our party. Let me explain. Either he is doing his youth service in the villa, he is on sabbatical in the villa, or that he has decided to be an instrument of the governing party against our party. Because as soon as it was announced, you see the video everywhere in the platform. In fact, in your program this morning, it was playing where he vowed he will never be in APC because APC is synonymous to cancer. And then on another occasion, he said for the minister will go, I'm not interested. But he's not alone. There was a governor who said he was going to school. He was not going to be a minister. And then this morning, interestingly, some of your uncles that were analyzing, they said anybody who is nominated as a minister must have gone to SSS to defend your CV and answer questions. So that means you were conscious. It's not like your name just popped out, who wants to be a millionaire. You work towards it. You lobby it. To me, that is not... If we can pick states, because I have lived long enough in APC for 7-8 years, you can pick a state. I will give you an idea of people who should have been ministers, but they are not made. The good part, and I must praise President Tinubu for that, is you remember when European Union said this election was rigged. They said it was mad with bad. It's only 31% of the result in IREF was mathematically correct, and they dish out a lot of things of their findings. You remember some people came out from the governing party and criticized them. The reason they did is because in the report of European Union, there were two people that European Union classified as merchants of fake news. Now, some people thought Tinubu is not smart. They thought Tinubu also is saying bullshit with the European Union.
No, we don't use the BS.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree.
We'll take that.
I withdraw that. So, but do you know what Tinubu did? He did not appoint these individuals whose name featured in the report as merchant of fake news. That is,
in other words,
I don't think that is
in other words, the president is listening to some extent.
To be fair to him,
yes,
since he took office, there are one or two things he has done that suggests he listens. Like, for example, the ill thought and ill timed 8,000 to be given. He saw the outcry of the people he withdraw. Buhari wasn't doing that in his time, because people around him will come and tell you that these are enemies of your government.
So quickly, let's wrap up on this, on the ministerial list. What are those things you would want him to rejig if there are in the list?
I will want the court to declare a rerun, because we believe we won the election, and when the court declares a rerun, Atiku Abubakar would definitely emerge as a winner. Then I can come and tell you in detail what Atiku has for Nigeria as a plan. Now, because on all issues that they are implementing, beginning with the private sector-led arrangement, even this removal of subsidy, you know, we define the things to be put in place and how the subsidy is to be removed in phases.
So you think your agenda is stolen?
No, if they have stolen, it would have been better now. If they have stolen and implemented it, that means there would have been federal government program already reeled out to provide the cushioning effect. So if your choice was to make cars, for example, available to help middle class workers, then those cars would have been in town. If it is to increase the salary of staff to cover for that transportation, or some of the people in government today that we call them or studied as young people, but our psychic has been so destroyed. Now, this is where I will hold President Bola Ahmed Tinubu accountable if he does not seize the opportunity, like the way God presented the opportunity to Buhari in the past, and he was unable to bring about the changes that Nigerians needed. Now, I'll give you a contrast, example, of to suggest to you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu had every privilege and opportunity to force youth or force women. If you go to a state like Cross River, the governor nominated himself, but he was not taken. And there were 2 ministers taken from the state, which obviously suggests that there may be a minister for that state, a minister representing the zone. So if Bola Ahmed Tinubu could do that, that means he has the capacity to choose whoever he wants everywhere, that he chose to rely on some people that predictably, very soon he will regret deciding on them. Now look at it. You were a governor for 8 years. You were giving orders. You were not taking orders. You had the unlimited resources of the state. You had control of the state assembly. We all know that state assemblies in Nigeria hardly function. So in other words, you had all the wherewithal to bring about government change. You couldn't do that. Now you are nominated as a minister who will be in a ministry with limited resources. You will have to take order from the king himself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you see that somebody who could not perform when he had the opportunity with the resources being able to perform now? This is the reason why we made the case that once somebody served as a governor for 2 terms, he should not have any basis to come around ministerial nomination. The nation has to make a conscious effort. There was a time in Nigeria, from governorship, you don't become president.
Danabola, a PDP member you are, but I seem to be excited about your objective, analysis here, because you just spoke about Rivers, Cross River State, where the former governor also nominated himself. The story again is still the same about the leader of the APC in Edo State, who also nominated himself. But at the end of the day, some others were picked.
Yes.
So is this indicative of the new Nigeria you just envisaged earlier on?
Is indicative of the fact that PBAT had now the opportunity to bring about the new Nigeria, right? Most of the young people that you will think, or we thought they were going to find their ways in ministerial position, have been banished to boards and parastatals as members. When you make somebody a member of a board, it's redundancy. Somebody who has energy, has enthusiasm, crazy ideas. Some of them just came back from study. Some of them have piloted your campaign where you see cutting-edge reasoning, whether in media or in anything. Now it is time for them to bring that to fore in national affairs because of what you call the politics of leadership of a state. Now they will name it. And in Nigeria, we know most governors are intimidated by competent people. You rarely find a governor choosing a competent person from his state to represent, because their own psychic and psychology is that if you give that person the opportunity, he will blow what in common parlance among the young people they say, he will blow. They prefer yes sir and indulgent, people who apply the literal principle of 48 laws of power, where you behave like the king's fool. And so you find them all in government, whether ambassadorial, ministerial, or MDS and parastatals. How can that move? Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has that opportunity. Some of us from the other party believe the reason he could do that is because he bought his election. Do you understand? Nobody can say, when he went to Rivers, and the former governor of Rivers was trying to subliminally, put a emotional burden or blackmail. He said, I owe you nothing. He knows how he achieved what he achieved. So he has that opportunity to say, and he has done that now in states where we tell you he picked somebody as against the wish of the government.
Now you're talking about Rivers State, and some would say that the former governor also nominated himself. So were you surprised seeing his name on that list?
Who?
The member of your party, Nyesom Wike.
You see, he's not a member of our party.
So guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. No doubt we are going to regain our mandates, because we know there are so many issues as regards to this election, and we cannot go on with this kind of criminality. Nigeria has to change for the better. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.